welcome back into our home as we continue to learn what it means to live together on mission. In the first two sessions, we were looking at speaking our purpose, identifying our purpose, defining it, speaking it within our household. And it's so important to learn the purpose that God has given us, our unique God-given purpose for everyone in your household, so that you can then follow through on the other things we're going to be talking about in this series. Because really, everything we do begins with who we are.
So hopefully your homework went well. And we really hope that those prompts and those questions that you work through were enlightening in terms of exploring your gifting and your assignment. We find, and we hope that you find, that being able to identify your gifting is really encouraging and empowering to know that you were hardwired for something very specific and unique to you, and that your assignment, where the place where God really wants to work through you, is exciting. So we hope you were able to find those things in the process. We were also hopeful that you were able to do the 7-day challenge. But if you weren't, we still want to encourage you to make room for that, because speaking purpose into the others in your household and speaking purpose into yourself on a daily basis can really start a habit that will strengthen and empower you and move you forward through this process.
Okay, so now that we've looked at purpose, we've identified it, we defined it, and then spoken purpose, it's time to turn our attention to the next steps of living together on mission, and that's about values. So in this session, we're going to set that up by thinking about choosing our values. I like to think about it like this. Aligning our lives to the mission of Jesus happens with purpose. But then when we have values, that guides us to make decisions in everyday life and what we do within our families. Maybe think about your car when you take it in to get it aligned. You get the vehicle aligned, it's ready to get on the road, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the driver is going to make good decisions, right? So we're aligned in our purpose, and now we have decision making that happens through values.
And so we're constantly making decisions in our home. Sometimes we have little decisions that we have to make on a daily basis, like what we're going to wear that day or what we want to eat. And then we obviously have bigger decisions that we have to work through, like where are we going to live, or what jobs are we going to take, or how are we going to school our children, or are we going to have children? So we have little decisions and big decisions that we're always constantly working through as a household and as a family. But we want to kind of encourage you to think a little bit more specifically today about one of the biggest decisions that you can make in your home, and that is how you make decisions.
Yeah. So Jesus says that the way we make decisions is through and in our heart. He says that it's what you treasure that is where your heart is. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 21, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Or in our language, it's what we value. I don't know if you ever thought about it like that before, but what you value is how you make decisions. If we look at ancient wisdom in the Bible, in Proverbs, we see this all the way back in Proverbs chapter 4. We're going to read verses 23 to 25.
Guard your heart above all else, for it is the source of life. Don't let your mouth speak dishonestly, and don't let your lips talk deviously. Let your eyes look forward, fix your gaze straight ahead.
So this scripture talks about your heart in the sense of guard it. Guard what's in there, because what's in there is how you make your decisions. It's how you move through life. And then it says about speaking, make sure you speak clearly, speak honestly, don't speak dishonestly, so your words matter. And if you put those concepts together, that's why this is so valuable to think about what we value in our hearts is how we then make decisions, and what we speak into our hearts is how we make decisions. The text goes on to say, carefully consider the path for your feet. We're going to get into that on the next couple lessons when we talk about following the skills of Jesus. But we've gone from purpose, who we are, where we get alignment, to values, what we treasure, what we hold in our heart that helps us make decisions. And then we'll get into the skills of Jesus, which is our habits and how we live on a day-to-day basis. So values are how we make decisions. Let's give you a few statements, just really clarify what we mean by values. So first of all, values are defined by words or principles that you deeply believe in.
Values are what you live by or hope to live by.
Values guide your beliefs. They define who you are, and they serve as guidelines for making decisions.
Values are stronger than thoughts or opinions. They describe your life at your best.
And values are heart-based principles that fuel the direction of your life. Now, you might be saying, okay, I get it. Values make sense. That makes sense from a worldly mindset. Is that even biblical to do that? As believers, maybe sometimes we think, well, why wouldn't I just read the Bible, follow Jesus, and I'll get my values that way? I don't need to literally have these terms and things you'd go through. But maybe this will help. The scriptures say to sing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. You see that in Ephesians and in Colossians. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but the Psalms, that's literally a song book in the Old Testament. So there's your content, but it doesn't say just psalms. It says hymns and spiritual songs. And where we are this year in 2022, there's songs that are brand new that just came out that are spiritual songs that have good language that speaks to us today that are even better than 5 years ago or 10 years ago and certainly centuries ago. And every year, creative people come out with good lyrics that are based in Scripture. They're translating words to today to help us make them usable in our language. And that's really what we're doing with values. We're grabbing truths from the Word and translating that for our home so that we can then be on mission. We're going to take literal terms and concepts and principles that we believe in that mean something to us today. Philippians chapter 4, verse 8 says this. It says, "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things." In order to think about something and meditate on it that's true, you've got to spell it out. You've got to articulate it. So that's why this is so important.
So choosing these principles that are anchored in Scripture, yet still speak very clearly to you or to your household, that's why this is so valuable. So what we're getting into in these exercises is establishing those principles in Scripture that speak clearly to you, that resonate in a way that motivate you to move. So for us, our family values, we have 5. Our family values, just so you know, words that might be something that would be accessible and things that are usable values. Ours are honor, stewardship, simplicity, presence, and sacrifice. And we went through a process about 10 years ago where we developed those words. We actually went on our own little personal retreat for a weekend. We went away from our home, away from our kids who were really, really little at the time. And we spent a whole weekend hashing out what our values are. And we had spent time before kind of setting up the process and getting ready for that conversation. But we really tried to kind of isolate ourselves and sit down and extract the values that were the most important to us as individuals and as a couple in order to set the tone and the culture of our home.
Yeah, and I remember we went through exercises that helped us think from my standpoint, from your standpoint, things that we want to see happen. And that's really what we want for you as well. You begin from your purpose, who God made you to be. And as a married couple, you can draw from 2 people. If in your household might look a little bit different. Maybe you've got grandparents there. Maybe you've got your children that are older that you could draw from and work together and think about their unique purpose. What's everybody bringing to that household. Then we think about what do we want to be? Who do we want to be? And two ways to do that is say, well, how does Jesus live? What does he look like in his values, the way he lived? And we see that, of course, in Scripture. But the other way we can do that is think about households that we really respect. We've got people that we looked at and went, wow, whenever we get to that age down the path, I hope that our home can exhibit those kinds of values. And so the exercises that we're going to give you are going to help you guide through those, or going to guide you through those things, from your purpose to the aspirational values you have, and looking at other people that you respect.
So follow the exercises that you find in your discussion guide. Go through your homework prompts to help you start to extract those values. And we will see you next time for more Together on Mission.